What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Friday, October 20th, 2023, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 7:05 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming out of the Middle East. So, apparently, there's extensive airstrikes underway in southern Lebanon right now by the Israeli Air Force, and they're targeting Hezbollah military targets and infrastructure. So I don't know if this is the beginning stages of Israel's operation against Hamas, but there are extensive airstrikes going on right now in southern Lebanon. Okay, maybe Israel is going to launch a preemptive strike against Hezbollah before they go into Gaza, because maybe they know that as soon as they go into Gaza, then Hezbollah is going to come in and attack them from behind. So maybe they're doing a preemptive strike. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that there's potentially millions of jihadists that are on their way to the Israeli border right now. And these are Iranian volunteers, okay? And they volunteered a few days ago to go to Israel and fight a holy war against Israel. And there were numerous pictures and videos on social media showing these unmarked buses getting loaded up with these jihadists in Iraq. And apparently, they're going to be going towards Israel. They're going down to the border of Syria and Jordan. So Israel could get attacked from multiple sides once they go into Gaza. They might get attacked from the north by Hezbollah. They may get attacked from Syria and Iraq by all these volunteer jihadists, millions of them apparently. They could get attacked by Egypt. They could get attacked by Iran. We have unconfirmed information coming out that Iran has put their ballistic missiles on high alert. So that is very concerning. And I showed you guys the pictures of these missile trucks spotted in Tehran the last 2 days. Okay, these giant trucks with ballistic missiles on them covered in camo netting, okay, in the capital of Iran, being moved around. Okay, so I'm sure Iran is readying their ballistic missiles. So we could see an all-out war in the Middle East, okay? Once Israel goes into Gaza, we could see Hezbollah attack Israel, and all those jihadists come from Iraq, Syria, Iran, Jordan, and come in from the north and the east. And then Israel could retaliate against them, and the U.S. could retaliate with those carrier strike groups. Okay, 2 carrier strike groups. Okay, you don't move 2 carrier strike groups to an area unless something serious is about to go down, and a Marine Expeditionary Unit with 2,500 Marines and multiple amphibious assault ships. Okay, you don't move that kind of hardware somewhere unless something big is about to go down. And so, this could just totally escalate. We'll have to keep an eye on the situation. But Iran has said multiple times that they're not going to sit by and allow Israel to go into Gaza. The U.S. has made it very clear over and over that they will not allow other countries in the region to take advantage of the situation and attack Israel. So both sides are not backing down. Okay, this is very similar to the Russia-Ukraine situation, where Russia doesn't want to back down, Ukraine doesn't want to back down, NATO doesn't want to back down. So it's like, 2 pit bulls fighting. Okay, that's what's about to happen. I think. I hope I'm wrong. I pray that I'm wrong. And what you're looking at here is a video showing a U.S. Ohio class sub. This is a nuclear powered and potentially nuclear armed submarine. And this video was taken 2 days ago on October the 18th, and it was leaving Scotland. Now, in Scotland, that's where Britain has their nuclear armed submarine base, okay, in Fastlane, Scotland. So this thing was at that base in Gairloch. I don't know how to say it properly, but it's in Fastlane, Scotland. And it just left 2 days ago. And where it's going, we don't know. there's unconfirmed reports that this thing could be going to the Mediterranean. And this is the USS Florida, which is an Ohio-class sub that was converted from carrying Trident missiles to Tomahawk missiles, and it can carry 154 Tomahawk missiles. And the Tomahawk missiles could either have conventional or nuclear warheads on them. Okay, so it's highly likely that they're moving this to the Mediterranean. I can't say that for sure, but the timing is very strange that they would suddenly move this thing out of Scotland. Okay, literally 2 days ago, right around this time when all these tensions are just flaring up in the Middle East, and this would be the perfect asset to have in the Middle East because you have 154 Tomahawk missiles on this thing, and they could potentially have nuclear payloads, nuclear warheads, and so that would allow a very serious strike against Iran or Hezbollah or Syria or whoever tries to go after Israel. This is some serious firepower on this submarine here. Okay, 154 Tomahawk missiles. Think about that, guys. Okay, and imagine if they have nuclear warheads on them. I mean, just this one submarine alone could completely decapitate the entire Iranian military and their nuclear program. Okay, they could strike every single base in Iran with this one submarine. Okay, and they could do it from a long ways away without having to use aircraft that could get potentially shot down by Iranian air defenses. Okay, but Iran has repeatedly threatened the U.S. and Israel, saying they want to wipe Israel off the map. We've had jihad already declared. The black flag has been flown in the mosque in Iran. It's like the biggest mosque in the world. I forget the name of it. And that basically tells Muslims worldwide that, it's time to go to holy war. And the U.S. is not backing down. They're making a lot of threats. They're moving all these pieces of equipment into the Middle East. Okay, 2 aircraft carrier strike groups, potentially this USS Florida. Okay, subsurface guided nuclear submarine. This is no joke, guys. Okay, things are really, really escalating. We do have some good news, I suppose. Apparently, 2 American hostages have been released by Hamas, a 59-year-old woman and her daughter. And these were Americans. Okay, so here's a picture of those hostages that were released. 59-year-old Judith Renan and her 18-year-old daughter, Natalie Renan. Okay, I don't know if I'm saying their names right, but, that's, I guess, some good news. But it could also just be a psychological trick by Hamas to try to make the world think that Hamas are the good guys. Oh, we're releasing hostages now. Here's some pictures of that USS Florida leaving Scotland. Okay, this is where Britain has their submarine base for their nuclear-armed submarines. And here we have a video of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu giving a war speech to his forces. Okay, so this operation could kick off in a matter of hours. It could happen tonight, it could happen tomorrow, but it's not going to be that much longer. And when this operation kicks off, we could potentially see all hell break loose in the Middle East. Okay, we'll have to see. But we could see multiple actors getting involved. Okay.
לוחמים של גולני, הם באים מכל חלקי הארץ, הם לחמו כמו אריות, הם ילחמו כמו אריות. אתם מוכנים להמשך? כן! אנחנו הולכים לנצח בכל העוצמה. אתם מוכנים? כן! כל עם ישראל עומד מאחוריכם, ואנחנו ניתן את המכה הקשה לאויבים שלנו כדי שנשיג ניצחון לניצחון. מוכנים? כן!
And for those of you guys who don't know, Benjamin Netanyahu was actually in the Israeli Special Forces, and him and his brother were involved in a very risky operation to rescue hostages from an African country. And he actually lost his brother in that operation, but they planned it themselves. and it was very risky. They landed a plane in this country, and they basically took on the local military, which outnumbered them because they were a small special ops unit. And they landed a plane on the airport, and they were able to get the hostages out and fly back to Israel with them. So they literally flew a plane into a foreign country that took their people, and then they took their people back and flew them back to Israel. I mean, that is just so gutsy. And he lost his brother in that operation. So, he's not just a pencil pusher, okay? This guy is the real deal, okay? He's been in the military. He's, fought for Israel's independence. So he's not going to back down, guys. Okay, he's not going to back down to any pressure from the West, from Biden or anybody else. Uh, we had 3 nuclear war command and control planes up in the air this evening. Here's one that was just airborne about an hour ago, and here's 2 more that were airborne earlier in the afternoon. Okay, so our nuclear forces are on high alert right now. And this update is being sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, I have a special deal for you that My Patriot Supply hooked me up with, and it's a 25% discount on their 3-month emergency food supply and their 2-week emergency food supply. So to get the deal, you have to use the link in the description below this video, which is preparewith NYPrepper.com, and you'll get 25% off the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply and 2-week emergency food supply. Now, these food supplies are freeze dried, so they have a 25-year shelf life if stored in the proper conditions. They come in rugged, water resistant buckets. The 3-month emergency food supply comes in 6 water resistant buckets, so they don't take up a lot of room. And you have 3 months worth of food, which should cover you for almost any scenario. There's a variety of different food in this 3-month supply and also in the 2-week supply. As you can see here, rice pudding, mac and cheese, creamy stroganoff, cheesy broccoli soup, chili mac, spaghetti. I mean, just a ton of different food here. So you're going to get a good variety, and it's also healthy, and there's no MSG. So get prepared, guys. We're living in unprecedented times. World War III could happen at any moment. And the 2-week emergency food supply is also great for people that like to go camping. You can get one of these buckets and throw it in your vehicle. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get 25% off of the 2-week and the 3-month emergency food supply from My Patriot Supply, 25-year shelf life. They also have a general store. If you click on their logo here, it'll take you to their general store, which has all kinds of prepping and survival items. So check them out, guys. I'll leave a link in the description below this video. And Bloomberg is reporting that the U.S. and EU countries are pressuring Israel to postpone the ground operation in Gaza in order to exhaust the moves for the release of the hostages mediated by Qatar. Okay, so they want to try to, work out more deals to release more hostages. So that could be why they're stalling, because Hamas has like hundreds and hundreds of hostages. Okay. We have multiple U.S. defense officials now reporting that the interceptions over the Red Sea 2 nights ago by the USS Carney were much more significant than had previously been stated, with the destroyer said to have intercepted at least 4 land attack cruise missiles and 15 drones launched by the Houthis in Yemen, all within a 9-hour period. So they're increasing the number of missiles now that they intercepted. First they said 2, then 3, now it's 4. So it's hard to trust, what the Defense Department is saying. I mean, for all we know, it could have been an all-out missile attack with dozens of missiles, and they're just saying, oh, it was only 4. I mean, we just don't know. Okay, but it's good that they moved that warship there. That was an Aegis warship, and the USS Carney. And that Aegis warship, it has the interceptor missiles on it that are basically better than the Patriot missiles. And we have some breaking news coming from a Russian source saying that Iran has ordered its citizens to leave Lebanon within the next 24 hours. Okay. So that's pretty crazy. If that's true, that's pretty insane. That means that something big is about to go down in Lebanon. Like I said, Israel may launch a preemptive strike on Lebanon and Hezbollah. We've seen a lot of British fighter jets operating off of Cyprus, and they've been flying towards Lebanon. So maybe they're practicing for a massive strike on Lebanon. That's why they're waiting for that second aircraft carrier to get in. And then they would have 150 fighter jets that they could just continuously run sorties into Lebanon and the Gaza Strip and just pound Hezbollah and any other threats in the region coming from other countries like in Syria or Jordan. Um, so this is a very serious situation, guys, and it's escalating by the hour. And apparently, the U.S. is planning to send 2 Iron Dome missile defense batteries to Israel. We have initial reports of another drone attack in Iraq, this time at the Harir air base that hosts coalition forces in Erbil in northern Iraq. Okay, so another drone attack on U.S. Bases, on a U.S. base in Iraq. We have unconfirmed reports that humanitarian aid trucks have begun to cross from Egypt into the Gaza Strip via the Rafah border crossing. And I want to just share some more flight paths with you. So here we have this strange Russian Air Force plane flying along the Israeli Lebanon coast. And this plane was airborne earlier today, and it flew from the Sinai Peninsula up to Syria, and then it flew back from Syria down to the Sinai Peninsula, and it had its transponder turn off around that area. So I don't know if this is a spy plane. They're trying to keep an eye on the U.S. Carrier Strike Group here, but it's very suspicious. Okay, this is a VIP plane, but they could easily outfit it with optics to see what's going on. And this was earlier. You can see it came from the Sinai Peninsula, and then it flew towards Syria. Okay, so the Russians are definitely trying to keep an eye on U.S. forces. And here we have a sub Hunter plane active this evening off the coast of Israel. We have some concerning information coming out of the Black Sea. Apparently, Russia scrambled 2 Sukhoi 27 fighter jets yesterday to prevent 3 British military planes from entering Russian airspace over the Black Sea, according to the Russian Defense Ministry, which said that the Russian fighters were sent to intercept 3 air targets approaching the border and identified them as an RC-135 reconnaissance aircraft and 2 Typhoon fighter jets. As the Russian fighters approached, the foreign military aircraft turned away from the state border of the Russian Federation. Okay, so that's what Russia is saying. Okay, so now these RC-135s that go into the Black Sea, they're now being escorted by British fighter jets, because last year Russian fighter jets almost shot one down, okay, which would have caused World War III. Thank God that one of the missiles actually missed and had a homing issue. It wasn't able to lock on to the British reconnaissance plane for whatever reason, if the missile was bad or if maybe that reconnaissance plane had some kind of countermeasures to jam the missile guidance. But if that missile did hit that British recon plane, we could have been in World War III. NATO ambassadors held an emergency meeting in Budapest yesterday over Hungary's ties to Russia. The NATO ambassadors to Hungary met in Budapest at the initiative of the U.S. ambassador to discuss Prime Minister Viktor Orban's meeting with Putin in Beijing on October 17th. Okay, So it's not looking good for Hungary as far as their NATO membership and their EU membership, because Hungary keeps cozying up to enemies of NATO and enemies of the Western world like China and Russia. So definitely not a good sign there. We have reports from various sources that apparently there's serious disagreements in the Israeli war cabinet about the ground invasion, and that US and European allies are putting pressure on them to not invade just yet due to hostage negotiations. And apparently, Hamas sent a request to Israel for an immediate ceasefire in exchange for hostages, but Israel didn't respond yet. And apparently, the Israeli army has stated that if there is a ground offensive, it will last at least 1 year. And that is what's causing divisions in the Israeli war cabinet. Okay. So the Israeli war cabinet is saying that this operation is going to be very intense. Okay. It's going to cause a lot of losses for Israel. They're going to lose a lot of men. They're going to lose a lot of equipment. It's going to take a long time because it's heavy urban fighting. Okay, this is like urban fighting on steroids. Okay, the whole Gaza Strip is just one giant city. So they're going to have to go building by building, clearing each building, and there's booby traps, there's tunnels, so it's not going to be easy. And so apparently that's what various sources are saying. I can't confirm that 100%. That's the rumor. Okay, so take it with a grain of salt. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Like I said, guys, Netanyahu is former Israeli special forces, and he's not going to just sit around and do nothing. So it's going to get pretty serious very soon. And apparently, the MTV Europe Music Awards ceremony has been canceled due to volatility of world events. Okay, so MTV Europe canceling their music awards, probably because of the threat of terrorism. Okay, last week they had to evacuate a bunch of historical sites in France. They evacuated the Louvre. They evacuated the Palace of Versailles. So, be aware of your surroundings, especially if you live in an urban area. If you're going to be traveling to any kind of urban area, or if you're going to be doing any kind of tourism, okay, those are prime targets for jihadists. Okay, so be aware of your surroundings. It might be a good idea to avoid traveling to those types of areas for the next few days or next few weeks until we see what happens with this war, because it could get a whole lot worse potentially. So be aware of your surroundings, know where the exits are, try to find cover and concealment everywhere you go. But that's pretty much it, guys, for this one. I'll keep you updated. If there's any other breaking news, I'll do another update tonight. And once this war kicks off, I will go live as much as possible. So take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.